Alright, it's time for another episode of Random Thoughts from McCrae's Mind, the worst video channel on YouTube. And today I'm going to be talking about why people prefer dictatorships. Now, in the United States, we believe that people prefer democracy, and we think that we prefer democracy. And we think the whole world wants democracy. And in some ways they do. But the reality is that throughout history, and even today, most people do not want democracy. They want authoritarianism. And so why do people want authoritarianism even in this world today? Why have they wanted it in the past? Well, that's a very simple reason, and that's because the authoritarian leader provides you with something valuable, something that you value as a human being on planet Earth. They provide you with something of value. Now, in the past, people lived in very precarious times, very precarious situations. They were living off the land. They were barely making a go of it. They were starving in the winter. If they had a crop failure, they might die. They were also subject to invasion from another force, right? They had to, if the Visigoths, came into Rome, they wiped people out. They killed people wholesale, raped the women. So, if you could just have a little bit of security in your life, that was very valuable. You weren't interested in being rich, you were just interested in being alive. And so that's what the authoritarian leader gave you, because usually they were a warlord or, somebody who conquered. And they conquered the land, they conquered the people, and then in return they gave people security. And people really valued that security. And that's what we have today, even. I mean, if you're in China, they don't really want democracy. They say, we're not really, I don't think we're ready for that. Why? Because, China hasn't been poor. They really value what they have today. That's been given to them by their government, and so they're pretty happy with their government. They feel like their government is doing good things for them. They look to the United States. It's a pretty corrupt country. They don't really want to turn the country over to the wealthy in the way that we've done. They feel like their government might represent them better. They might do more for them than a democratic government. So, if you go back to the Roman Empire, most of our civilization is based on the Roman Empire, based on Roman laws, based on a Roman form of government. And the Romans had emperors, and these emperors were really popular. Now, why were Roman emperors popular? We know what the answer is: bread and circuses. Bread and circuses. If the emperor provided bread and circuses, the population was happy. Now, what people don't know about Rome, mostly, is that Romans were entitled to their daily bread. Right? We call it daily bread for a reason. It comes from Rome. You got daily bread. So what does that mean? That means that you were fed by the emperor. You did not have the insecurity of having to starve because you got your daily bread as a Roman citizen. And that's pretty much all people ate. Throughout time, it's been bread. They didn't have much else. Because bread is easy to make. I mean, it's just grass. Grass grows everywhere. You can make bread. You can make it on large scale. You can distribute it easily. And so people got their daily bread, and they didn't have to worry about starving. And then when you lived in a time when you had to worry about starving, that was a big deal. So just getting your daily bread, having your needs taken care of, hey, the emperor was a-okay, you know. Long live the emperor. And that's where authoritarianism comes from. Authoritarians give the population something of value. And if you live in a democratic society, you got to make it all on your own, you know. And so you may find that attractive in this world that we have today, where we have a certain amount of privilege and we have a certain economy. But if you're living in another country where you don't have that, and you know you're just going to be growing vegetables for a living, you know, democracy is not going to provide you with a whole lot. You may be able to have, you know, maybe in 100 years, you know, think about what you'll have. But people don't care about that. They want what they can get now. And so, if uh, a ruler can provide people with food, and I mean, usually religion, right? They're going to be purveyors of the established religion. That's going to put those people in control of the society, more or less. So if they give you your religion and they give you your daily bread, you know, they're in. So that's it. I mean, that's basically the reason that people prefer authoritarianism to democracy. So if you've ever wondered why that was the case, now you know.